Hey guys, it's Bums. Today I'm going to be going over the best Ana positioning spots on Samoa, Kings Row, and New Queen Street. Let's get started. So here we are on Samoa, and we're going to the point, and typically I'll be following my team. You'll have the tank in the front. Usually they're fighting on the point, right? For me, I think the best positioning would be right about here, where you can attack the enemy team and heal your teammates at the same time. Up here, where you can take high ground, where you have the option to take high ground and also use this high ground as cover. The only issue with this positioning is you could get flanked by the enemy team, and it's a little bit of a riskier position. Another option would be to go closer to your team so that they can protect you if there's dive characters. And I would recommend either here or here if that high ground is an issue. If there's enemies on the high ground and they're attacking you from here, then I would recommend going here. If you guys already have the point and your team is pushed up, I would recommend staying on this point and healing your team from here. And I think that's all the good positions here on this map, so let's move on to the next. So now we're on Samoa downtown, right here. Kind of similar to Oasis, where you have like a little barrier in the middle and a little circle around it. I would recommend positioning yourself right here. You can see both sides of the site, especially when you first attack the point. I would recommend staying here. Another good positioning spot, if you're able to get to it and reposition yourself once you have the point, would be here. You can practically see the entire point. The only hard part about this is a lot of hit scan DPS like to come up here, a lot of dive heroes like to come up here, so just pay attention to your sounds. Let's say Genji's flanking you, you drop down, reposition, bam bam bam. I would recommend going right about here. You can see your team. You can see whoever was trying to flank you can do a little bit of damage here and there. And then don't be afraid to use this little barrier as protection too. I found myself doing a little roundabout thing with tanks and DPS. Now let's say your team's pushed up. I would recommend positioning yourself right about here. Or you can take high ground right over here. Here you won't really be able to do that much damage to the enemy team, but you can definitely heal your teammates pretty well here. And you can even see across the map over here to see if anyone's trying to flank you guys. Another place you can position yourself if you want to stay a little bit farther in the back would be right here. You can definitely see your team if they're pushing up. You can see the enemy, and you can reposition yourself back over here if you need to. Alright, and I think that's about it for this map, so we'll move on to the third point on this map. Alright, next up is Samoa Beach. One position I would recommend would be positioning yourself here, where you have access to this mini, in case someone tries diving you. You can take either side of these, but make sure you're on the edge, so like here or here, so that you have more control over where the enemy team is going to be attacking you from. If you're in the middle here, they can attack you from both of these sides and you're like kind of squished in this little spot. One issue with this positioning here is enemies are able to flank you from here. Another spot I would recommend, but is a lot riskier, would be right here. This gives you a lot of LOS over practically everything. You can see flankers, you can see the enemy team, you can see the point and your team, but if heroes dive you, it is definitely a lot riskier, so be careful if you're going to position yourself here. Another position I've found is pretty interesting is, let's say your team is fighting on the point, the enemy team is fighting on the point as well. You can actually like kind of hide here and heal your team, and a lot of the time the enemy won't notice. Alright, I think we are done with Samoa positioning. Let's go ahead and check out Kings Row. A lot of the times I use this building. If the enemy team starts rotating this way, I'll use this building and rotate with them and heal and do damage from here. Let's say the enemy team pushes up. Now they're almost at the point. I would recommend backing up, all the ways over here, or over here if you'd like. And from here you can heal your team and prevent yourself from taking unnecessary damage. Some other good positionings on this map would be the high ground. So the first one I'd recommend if you're gonna play Anna on this map on high ground would be right here. You can see the enemy, you can see if they're gonna flank from here, you can see them coming through here, you can see your teammates. The only part you can't see is this little bitty corner. You can rotate yourself right up here, and then you have access to this little spot here. And you have access to healing your team from a greater LOS. Now let's say they're on the point. You can rotate yourself right over here, and you're able to heal your team, which is probably going to be right about here, and you're able to do damage to the enemy team. Alright, let's move on to the second point here. Let's say the enemy has capped that point. Now we're on the second point. Your team might be grouping up right around here. And you can position yourself right here, you can do damage here, you can do healing here, you can see all kinds of different angles, you can see the high ground. My favorite spot, here you have the high ground, which makes it easier to hit shots and things like that. You can see up here, and you have your own personal mega right here. Now let's say the point's right here. You can actually position yourself right up here, and you can heal your team and do damage. The only part you need to worry about would be this little position here. Try to be aware of your surroundings. Now let's say the enemy team is right around here. You could definitely take this little corner and do some damage, do some healing. You even have access to this high ground right here to see if anyone's flanking. My best spot here would actually be right here. You can see that left side, you can see this right side here, you can even see this high ground, and the best part about this positioning is this mega here. I would say that the Annas with the best positioning are the ones that are aware of where their health packs are, because if you know where the health packs are, you can save yourself from a lot of situations where the enemy is trying to kill you. Another place you can position yourself is up here, but it's a little bit harder to get to, and you need a little bit of extra time to be able to reposition yourself up here. But up here you have the high ground, and this part is practically blocked off from you, so you won't take that much damage if an enemy is flanking you. And you also have access to this high ground here where you can see if enemies are trying to go around this way. I like to position myself here where you have this corner. It's a really simple spot to position yourself in, really quick. You don't have to reposition or anything. Another spot would be right here. If you're able to take this angle, you can definitely do a lot of damage. You can do a lot of healing. You can make a lot of plays from this area of the map. And you have the mega. Another spot right here where you can see that enemy team if they're pushed up here. You can see your teammates who would probably be there, and you can use either door, either little area here. Now let's say it's almost the end of the game. They're pushing up, they almost have that point, they're like an inch away from getting it. You're coming out of spawn, you think the game is over, you're like, this is fucked. You can position yourself right here, do some damage to that enemy team, heal your teammates. As long as you have teammates that are on the point, you can stay practically in spawn and help your team from there. If you put yourself on that point, you are going to put yourself in a lot of danger, and you're probably going to die for no reason. You can also position yourself on the other side too, right here, but I would say this side is a lot more dangerous because the enemy team will have a lot more LOS of you. There's not that much cover over here, unless you push up here, where if you push up here you do have a lot of cover, but again the enemy can see you from a lot of different angles and it's a little bit more dangerous. Let's go to the attacking side of King Zero. First, I would probably position myself around this train. You can use this train to kind of save you from cover. Your team's going to be right about here. The enemy team is going to be right about there. So once you're at this point, I would recommend using this little pillar as cover. I would recommend positioning yourself right here, where you got like an itty bitty little space here. Just make sure you're not taking too much damage. Know that you have this mini here. And a lot of the time, the hardest choke to get through is like right here. You can position yourself here, or you can use you could actually use the payload as cover as well if you're moving the point. So now the point is over here, right? You can position yourself right here in the back, or you can take high ground and you can do damage to their back line while also healing your team here. And you have access to the mega that's right in this room. Alright, let's say the point's right here. You guys almost have the point. It's an inch away. Your team's fighting, the enemy team's fighting. I recommend staying right here and healing your team, doing damage, or if you have the opportunity to take this high ground again, you could definitely use this. Lastly, we have the last point right here. One of my favorite positioning spots is right here. Now let's say we're pushing the point. It's right here. You can use this positioning here where you can see this little spawn room entrance. You can even go here if you feel safe enough. You can use the mega to heal yourself and take little angles here. Especially if the payload is right here, this is a really good position to be in because you have access to healing and you have access to your team and one of the spawn doors. Lastly, another spot you can take on this map would be this little doorway here. It has a lot of cover because it's just a single door and you're able to heal your team from here. You're not really able to do that much damage unless the enemy team is desperately trying to contest the payload. If they're contesting the payload, trying to stop it from getting to the end, then yes, you can do a lot of damage here. From here, you can definitely heal your teammates, make some plays, get some antis. That's all of the pretty good positions for King's Row. So lastly, we'll be going over the push map, New Queen Street. Alright, so here we are on New Queen Street. Now we're attacking. There are a few different places that you can position yourself. You can position yourself here, but it doesn't really give you many options, and it's really easy for dive characters to dive you here. Another option would be going over here on this mini. Here you have a mini to protect yourself if you need to, and it doesn't give the enemy that many angles to attack you from. Would be either right here, where you kind of like attack over there and heal from here, or you can use this little room too. Now, let's say you guys win the bot, right? Bam bam. You have the bot's moving, bot's pushing. The enemy team's gonna be coming from here, here, or here. And when the bot's around here and the enemy team's coming, I either position myself right here, around this little train thing, or right here. You can also use the mega room, where you have a little mega that you can use for healing if they dive you. Right here, and then you won't get flanked from that way. So you could go here, and lastly, you could also take high ground if you have enough time to rotate. You can take this high ground, you can heal from up here, and you have visuals on where the enemy team's coming, whether it be from there, there, or there. We have close spawn now, right? And now the enemy team's gonna be coming from top, over here, or over there, right? I'd say the best spot would probably be hanging out near this mega room. So here you can see the teammates. You can see a little bit of the enemy up here, but you won't be able to do that much damage. Over here you'd probably be able to do a lot more damage. You'd be able to see basically all of where the enemy team's coming. The only hard part about this spot is that if someone flanks, you might get caught off guard. Alright, so we're still winning, right? Okay. And maybe the bot's like about here, right? I would recommend either taking this mini room where you have that health pack if you need it, or if you don't like this spot, you can use this little bus stop to give yourself some cover to work with. Now let's say, oh my god, the bot is right there. We are almost gonna win this game, right? I would recommend positioning yourself here, where you can like see your teammates, you have a mini, you're good, you can kill them in their spawn. Okay, back to square one. Let's say, rather than winning the point, we lose the point. Now, the bot is probably gonna be here when we come back from spawn. And the best places to position yourself as Anna would be either up here, taking that off angle, doing some damage and healing your team. Or if you want to save our position, you could go around here and heal your team while they're fighting. Another spot you could use to get the same angle would be right here, where you have access to the mega that you can use just in case you get dove on. Alright, now let's say they have close spawn. Obviously, you're able to come back from your spawn and take an angle based on your spawn room. My recommendation would be to take an angle up here, where you're able to see the enemy team, see your team that's probably going to be here fighting them, and you have access to this mini. If this position doesn't suit you, you can also go down here and take this angle. Just use this little building as cover. Now let's say the enemy team's like right around there. This one's a little bit harder to defend against just because your team is going to be pushing up. I typically use this little bus stop as cover, but it's not really that great. You could use this little advertisement thing as cover too, but it's also really not that great either. So I recommend maybe staying even farther back, close to spawn, and taking an angle here, where you're safe from fire, and if you get dove on, you can quickly run away. Now let's say the team's right there. They're about to win. Remember, have your tank touch the point. Don't go in there if you don't have to, and keep taking either this angle or the angle on the opposite side of spawn. And hopefully your tank will live and you guys can push the point all the ways back. That's all of my Ana positioning tips for these 3 maps. If you guys have any questions, please ask in the comments below and I'll make sure to reply back and give you guys a detailed answer to your questions. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, please. If you guys want more positioning videos like this, please let me know. Obviously there are more than 3 maps in Overwatch, but I just covered these 3 because it's already so much for just one video. So just let me know. Thank you. Bye!